What's up, upstanders? Dr. O here. And so I took my son to see the Minecraft movie, and Minecraft is not a video game I can get into. He tries to get me to play it. My daughter's tried to get me to play it over the years. It just doesn't work for me. But Jason Momoa, big fan of his work and everything. And so my son's 10. He wanted to see the movie, so I'm like, all right, let's go see it. And it was a good movie. It was entertaining. It was fun. It doesn't make you want to go play the game anything more or anything like that. I don't know if that was the point. But one of the things that just bothered me about the movie was, so I didn't know much about the characters, right? And when I was talking to my daughter about it, she was like, "Yo, she was annoyed that Steve wasn't black. The main character played by Jack Black. I guess that's the closest we get. Two of the main characters in the Minecraft video game are a character named Steve and a character named Alex. And you know, this is what they look like. You know what I mean? Like this is them, right? And so she was like, yeah, in Minecraft, Steve is black, so he should have been black in the movie. And I was like, wow, that's interesting. And I didn't know this until after the fact. And then spoiler, there's about to be a spoiler if you haven't seen the movie yet, so just be mindful of that. Here comes a spoiler. At the end of the movie, in the post-credit scene, they also introduce Alex, who looks a lot like Alex here, in terms of a white woman. And so I started doing some research, and it turns out that Mojang, the company that makes Minecraft, never said that Steve, the character, was a black person. They never said anything racially about anybody. Though it's not something that they would put out. But when I just go by, the look, what bothered me about this more than anything was that there were no black men in the movie with lines. Couple of extras here and there, but no black male cast members, and it bothers me. If you go back to what I talked about, as it relates to Wicked, as it relates to Moana, like this is going. That this is a theme that I look at when I'm looking at a movie. I just want to see as much diversity represented as possible. I want to see black people, white people, Asian people, Latinos, indigenous people. Like I want to see a movie that reflects what the country should look like in terms of its numbers. And to not see any of that in the movie was a problem for me. And the fact that they had this character who, is just a few shades lighter than me, and then to not have a character who could do that, I just who could fit that. It's just kind of whack. Like when I took my child to see Harold and the Purple Pen, I believe that's what it's called. The guy who played, the donkey or whatever animal that was a black person. Like just mix it up. Like, why is it hard? These movies are breaking records. Like, are people really not gonna go see the movie if you let a black man say a word or two in these movies? Like, can we do something different in 2025? And if there were no black women, I would say the same thing. Like, no Asian people. Like I'm not the guy. As a black male, the first thing I look for is representation of me. Then I look for representation of black women. Then I just go down the list. And this is part of the work that I do. If you want to really make a country where everybody can be celebrated and not tolerated, we have to start by making sure that these movies and these television shows have strong representation for our kids to see. It's not cool. And again, I don't even go into these movies with that lens. I'm just sitting there watching. I'm like, okay, 20 minutes in, 30 minutes in, we're an hour in. I generally don't watch commercials, so I'm kind of seeing stuff just right off the top. And these movies are letting me down. That I'm not speaking for my kids here, but for me, they're letting my family down in terms of what we would like to see. I know my older daughters who came up with Minecraft who are 18 and 16 are like, yeah, dude should have been black. That doesn't make any sense, or something else. So entertaining movie, fun movie. I wish they did a little bit better as it relates to representation, particularly as it relates to representation of black men. And those of y'all who say I'm caught up in race and so on and so forth, usually are the people who see proper representation of themselves in the things that they watch and have no problem with it. So I take what you say with a grain of salt. You should be demanding this more, particularly if you're part of a majority group or a group that sees yourself represented properly or in multifaceted ways in movies, and taking your kids to see these things. You should want them to see diversity and possibilities for what other people are and can be as well. But let me know what y'all think. Hit a brother up in the chat if you're seeing my stuff for the first time. Subscribe, get these videos on the daily, and let's continue to have the conversation. Peace.